Hello students, welcome back to JCE Connect. So let's continue with our revision of our course on Internet of Things technologies. So in this lecture we will continue with module 2 and we are going to discuss about connecting smart objects. So in that we are going to talk about communication criteria and IoT access technologies. So let's start with the communication criteria. So communication criteria describes the characteristics and attribute should be considered when selecting and dealing with connecting smart objects. So now we have already discussed what are smart objects and all. So when we want to connect them together and communicate, they should communicate with each other, then we need to take care of some communication criteria. Okay. So the various technologies used for connecting sensors can differ greatly depending on the criteria used to analyze them. Okay, so what are the different criteria are there? So the first one is range, then frequency bands, power consumption, topology, constrained devices, and constrained node networks. So we are going to discuss this particular criteria now. So let's start with the first one is range. So basically range means what? How far does the signal need to be propagated? Okay. What will be the area of coverage for a selected wireless technology? So obviously when these two particular things we are connecting together, they might be located at different places, right? So if one is sending the signal, so how long that signal will get propagated or will get transmitted if we are using a wireless technology for communication? Okay, so how much area that particular wireless technology can cover? Should indoor versus outdoor deployment be differentiated? So this range will decide whether for if it is indoor communication between the devices and or outdoor. So depend is that need to take care when we are choosing a particular communication criteria. So in this range we have a short range. So wireless short range technologies are often considered as an alternative to serial cable, supporting tens of meters of maximum distance between two devices. Okay, so short range means it is nothing but just supporting tens of meters of maximum distance. Okay, so if the distance is less, it is usually get connected with the serial cable. So this short range technology will replace this serial cable. So if it is we are talking short range wireless technologies, there are like IEEE 802.15.1, that is nothing but the Bluetooth we have, right, which can communicate, like the range is only few hundreds of tens of meter. Okay, and IEEE 802.15.7, that is visible light communication. So this is about short range. Then there is a medium range. So this range is main category of IoT access technologies. In the range of tens of hundreds of meter, many specifications and implementations are available. Now in this range we are having lots of different technologies available, wireless technologies available, so that device can communicate with each other. The maximum distance is generally less than 1 mile between two devices. Although RF technologies do not have real maximum distance defined, as long as the radio signal is transmitted and received in a scope of applicable specification. Okay, so example for medium range wireless technologies are like 802.11, that is Wi-Fi, okay, or 802.15.4 our Zigbee, or 802.15.4G, that is wireless personal area network. So these are some medium range wireless technologies we will be having. Okay, so wired technologies such as IEEE 802.3, that is Ethernet, and IEEE 1901.2, that is narrowband power line communication, may also be classified as medium range depending on their physical media characteristics. Okay, so these are some technologies what we have in medium range. Then we have a large range, so distance greater than 1 mile between two devices required a large range technologies. So the example for wireless are like cellular, 2G, 3G, 4G, and some applications of outdoor IEEE 802.11, that is Wi-Fi, and low power wide area that technologies. So basically, when the distance is too bigger, now we know that we are using mobile communication. So that mobile communication is like thousands of kilometer we can talk, right? So the signal is traveling so long. That is a long range communication we are talking about. So low rate low power wide area network communications have the ability to communicate over a large area without consuming much power. That is why we are saying low power wide area. Okay, so these technologies are therefore ideal for battery powered IoT sensors. So whenever, as it is utilizing less power, even though it is transmitting a long distance, wide area it is covering, whenever we are having devices with the battery power, they will be saving the battery. Okay, so for longer life we can have that device. So IEEE 80.3 over optical fiber and IEEE 1901 broadband power line communication are classified as a long range, okay, communication criteria. So this is about the range. So the first communication criteria we are talking about, this is range. So short range, that is Bluetooth, medium range and long range. So this wireless access landscape, it is showing the different range. Then the next criteria is nothing but the frequency bands. So this section describes the licensed and unlicensed spectrum including sub-gigahertz frequencies. So frequency band, so radio spectrum is regulated by countries and or the different organizations such as an International Telecommunication Union ITU and the Federal Communication Commission FCC. So depend on the countries, they are actually either that particular country or particular organization is handling the spectrums. So whenever we want to transmit a data, that will be using some particular frequency band, right? So if you take an example of a radio station like 91.1 FM, right? So actually it is 91.1 FM. One is nothing but a frequency at which that particular signal is getting transmitted. Okay, so that particular spectrums are allocated for particular transmissions, so they are fixed. Like, so this group defines the regulations and transmission requirements for various frequency bands. So for example, the portion of spectrum are allocated to type of telecommunications such as radio, television, military and so on. So that's particular range of frequencies are defined for that particular communications. So on IoT access technologies, the frequency band leveraged by wireless communication are split between licensed and unlicensed band. Okay, now what is that licensed and unlicensed? So licensed spectrum is generally applicable to IoT long range access technologies and allocated to communications infrastructure deployed by services or service providers, public services, for example first responders, military or broadcasters and utilities. So license means they have purchased that particular frequency band, and in that particular long distance communication, long range communication, they're transmitting the signal or the information. So the licensed spectrum commonly used IoT access are cellular. Okay, so we know that for different companies, whatever they're providing our cellular communication like Airtel, Jio or Docomo, whatever, so they have this particular license spectrum purchased, and on that they will be sending the signals. Okay, so across cellular, WiMAX and narrowband IoT technologies, that are some of licensed spectrum. So now the ITU has also defined unlicensed spectrum for industrial, scientific and medical portion of the radio band for short range devices. So there is unlicensed band for some industrial transmission or scientific or medical transmission of data. If you want to do, then there is unlicensed band present. Okay, so unlicensed means that no guarantees of protection of are offered in the ISM band for device communication. So the protection is not offered in this, so that's why we are saying unlicensed. So for IoT access, these are most well-known ISM band. So these are 2.4 gigahertz band used by IEEE 802.11b, G and Wi-Fi, that is Wi-Fi, or Bluetooth, or even a wireless personal area network. So these are unlicensed bands available for the IoT communication. Then the next one is power consumption. So while the definition of IoT device is very broad, there is a clear description between the powered node and battery powered node. Okay, so whenever, now we know that the difference powered and battery powered. So powered node has direct connection to the power source, and communications are usually not limited by the power consumption criteria. Ease of deployment of powered node is limited by the availability of power source, which makes mobility more complex. So whenever if you want a device to be always connected to the power source, obviously mobility will not be there, right? And the deployment will be difficult because the power source will not be available everywhere, right? But battery powered nodes bring much more flexibility to the IoT devices. If that particular node is battery powered, we can deploy that anywhere, right? And the battery can be replaceable. These nodes are often classified by required lifetime of their batteries. Okay, so how much long that battery will last, so depend on that also they can be classified. For devices under regular maintenance, a battery life of 2 to 3 years is an option. Okay, IoT wireless access technologies must address the need of low power consumption and connectivity for battery powered nodes. So obviously if these wireless technologies are using lesser power, so the battery life will be longer, right? So this has led to evolution of new wireless environment known as low power wide area network. Okay, so that is using less power, less battery, so battery life will be more, so we don't need to replace the batteries of the node frequently. It is possible to run just about any wireless technology on batteries. However, in reality, no operational deployment will be acceptable if hundreds of batteries must be changed every month. So if it is frequently we need to change the batteries, then it is not acceptable. Okay, then we have topology. So next communication criteria is topology. So among the access technologies available for connecting IoT devices, three main topology schemes are dominant, which one are that are star, mesh and peer-to-peer. So for long range and short range technologies, a star topology is prevalent as seen with cellular, low power wide area and Bluetooth networks. So star topologies utilize a single central base station or controller to allow communication with endpoints. So you are familiar with like a star topology, mesh topology and peer-to-peer, right? So sorry. So when it is a long range, then we are saying it is a star topology. For medium range technologies, a star or peer-to-peer or mesh topology is common. Peer-to-peer topologies allow any device to communicate with any other device as long as they are in the range of each other. Okay, peer-to-peer technology allows any devices to communicate with each other as long as they are in the range of each other. Constraint devices. The Internet Engineering Task Force acknowledged in RFC 7228 that different categories of IoT devices are deployed. So that IoT devices are of different categories. So while categorizing the class of IoT nodes is a perilous exercise with computing memory, storage, power and networking continuously evolving and improving, RFC 7228 gives some definitions of constrained nodes. Okay, so based on this particular categories, like we are saying there are different categories of devices or IoT nodes are there. So uh, this definition help to differentiate constrained nodes from unconstrained nodes such as servers, desktop or laptop computers, and powerful mobile devices such as smartphones. So constrained nodes have limited resources that impact their networking feature set and capabilities. So that's what constraint means, it is limited. So the nodes have limited resources. So whatever it is, memory, storage, power, so all are limited for that particular nodes or devices. Okay. So according to the RFC 7228, constrained nodes can be broken down into the classes. So class 0, this class of node is severely constrained with less than 10 KB of memory and less than 100 KB of flash processing and storage capability. These nodes are typically battery powered. They do not have the resources required to directly implement an IP stack and associated security mechanisms. So that's what constrained are limited. So this class 0 is very severely constrained. So very less characteristics it is having. Uh, an example of a class 0 node is a push button that sends 1 byte of information when changing its state. Okay, this class is particularly well suited to leveraging new unlicensed low power wide area wireless technologies. Okay, so this is about class 0. Then we have class 1. While greater than class 0, the processing and code space characteristics of class 1 are still lower than expected for complete IP stack implementation. Okay, so here it is approximately 10 KB of RAM and 100 KB of flash, which is greater than class 0, but still it is lower if we want to implement a complete IP stack. Okay, they cannot easily communicate with nodes employing a full IP stack. However, this node can implement or optimize stack specifically designed for constrained nodes, such as constrained application protocol, that is CoAP. This allows class 1 nodes to engage in meaningful conversations with network without the help of gateway and provide support for the necessary security functions. Environmental sensors are an example of class 1 nodes. Okay, then we have class 2. Class 2 nodes are characterized by running full implementation of an IP stack on embedded devices. They contain more than 50 KB of memory and 250 KB of flash, so they can be fully integrated in the IP network. A smart power meter is an example of class 2 node. Okay, so these are about the constrained nodes we are saying. So we have categorized them into this three as defined by RFC 7228. Okay, so depending on how much memory and what all they support, so based on that we have divided into three different categories. Then constrained node networks. While several of the IoT access technologies such as Wi-Fi and cellular are applicable to laptops, smartphones, and some IoT devices, some IoT access technologies are more suited to specifically connect constrained nodes. Okay, so this like Wi-Fi and all cellular are this supports this laptop smartphones which are unconstrained. They're not limited, having not limited memory, limited power and all, they can access all, right? So typical examples for this we have for the constrained nodes are like IEEE 802.15.4 or 802.15.4G, RF IEEE 1901.2A PLC or low power wide area and IEEE 802.11.8 access technologies. So constrained node network are often referred to as low power and lossy networks. Okay. Now low power in the context of low power and lossy networks refer to the fact that node must cope with the requirements from powered and battery powered constrained nodes. Lossy network indicate that the network performance may suffer from interference and variability due to the hash radio environment. So already if this particular constraint nodes are limited and they are not having much power and all, so obviously there will be the losses whenever they are communicating. So layer 1 and layer 2 protocols that can be used for constrained node network must be evaluated in the context of following characteristics for the use case applicability. Okay, so these protocols can be compared based on the data rate and the throughput, latency and determinism, and overhead and payload. So based on this particular characteristics, we can compare that protocols which we can use with that particular constraint nodes. Okay, so the next topic is IoT access technologies. So here I am discussing this particular technologies in very brief. So many times they ask the frame format or for this particular different technologies. So or simply they can ask you the main characteristics or write a note on IoT access technologies. So we have this particular technologies and based on characteristics we are comparing this here. Okay, so the first one is IEEE 802.15.4, which is low rate wireless personal area. Okay, so obviously it is wire or wireless, so it is wireless. So it is unlicensed, so 2.4 gigahertz and sub gigahertz bands. So we already discussed what is a licensed band and unlicensed band. So which topology they support is a star and mesh. Range is medium for the communication and data rate is low. Okay, then we have IEEE 802.15.4G or 4E, which is smart utility networks. We have like so and that are also wireless. Okay, unlicensed, the same they use unlicensed band which is 2.4 gigahertz. Okay, and supports star and mesh topologies. Again the range is medium and the data rate is low. Then we have IEEE 1901.2A, which is low frequency narrow band power line communication. That's why it is wired. Okay, it is wired and unlicensed. Again this is, so it supports mesh topology. Again the range is medium and the data rate is low. Then we have IEEE 802.11ah Wi-Fi. So that is also wireless, like unlicensed, sub gigahertz band. Supports star topology. Then it is range is medium and data rate is low Then we have low power wide area network. So again this is wireless. Okay, unlicensed sub gigahertz band, star topology, range is long, so it can be used for long range communication and the data rate is low. So almost every this topologies the data rate is low because we are collecting so much of data, but the rate with which we are transmitting, like if continuously it is collecting, then the data is more, right? Okay, but the data rate required will be low. Then we have narrowband IoT. So again it is wireless, licensed. So narrowband IoT is, this one is using licensed frequency band. Okay, then topology is star. Again the range is long, so we know that when we want to communicate long, then obviously we need a licensed one so that the data will reach to the destination. Then it is the data rate, it is low. So this is about the IoT access technologies. Then what kind of questions can be asked on this particular topic, sir? List and explain the different communication criterias in IoT. Then write a short note on classes in constraint nodes as defined by RFC 7228. So just now we have seen like there are class 0, class 1, class 2. Okay. Write a short note on IoT access technology. So I said this for technology. Sometimes they ask the questions on frame structure and all. So you need to go for that particular questions also. Some have not covered the frame structure and all, but if it is a short note on IoT access technology, so simply you can write that particular table and explain that particular technologies in brief. Okay. The next one is briefly explain the protocol stack utilized in IEEE 802.15.4. So that is what I said, like frame format or a protocol stack might be asked sometimes. So you just need to go through that protocol stack. Okay. So let's stop here. Thank you.